All right, let's get right into it. For so many people for so long, managing diabetes has been this constant, manual, relentless job. But what if it didn't have to be? What if technology could actually step in and mimic a healthy pancreas, basically automating one of the most complex things the human body does? Well, today, we're going to talk about the tech that's doing exactly that.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if your diabetes could just manage itself? A tiny device that watches your glucose levels 24/7 and gives you the exact amount of insulin you need automatically. This isn't some far-off dream anymore. It's the real promise of what's called an artificial pancreas system, and it is completely changing the game right now.
Because let's be real, the current reality for millions is just this: an endless stream of calculations, finger pricks, corrections, and just plain worry. It is a massive mental load forcing you to make hundreds of critical health decisions every single day. And that is the problem that this technology was born to solve.
And the solution is here. So in this first part, let's break down what an automated or artificial pancreas actually is. It's a genuine breakthrough, you guys. It is the closest thing to a working pancreas that we have ever had.
So what is it really? An artificial pancreas system, or an APS, is basically a smart system that's always doing two things. One, it's constantly monitoring your glucose levels, and two, it's automatically adjusting how much insulin you get, all day, all night. The entire goal is to act just like a healthy pancreas would.
So how does it pull this off? Well, it's actually pretty amazing. It all boils down to three core pieces working together perfectly. First, you've got the continuous glucose monitor, the CGM. That's the little sensor that's reading your glucose. Second, there's an insulin pump, the device that actually delivers the insulin. And third, this is the secret sauce, a control algorithm. That's the brain of the entire operation.
And this is where that brain really shines. It creates what we call a closed loop. So, the CGM senses your glucose level every few minutes. It then transmits that info to the algorithm. Now here's the cool part. The algorithm doesn't just see where you are, it calculates and predicts where you're going. And based on that prediction, it tells the pump to adjust your insulin delivery. And this whole cycle just repeats over and over and over.
Just wrap your head around that for a second. Over 288 times a day, this system is making a micro decision and an adjustment for you. That's almost 300 decisions you don't have to think about, freeing up so much mental space to just, live your life.
Okay, so let's move on and see what this all adds up to. We're talking about real-world results now, because the impact isn't just theory. It's a story told in some really powerful, life-changing data.
Here it is. This is the headline number that gets endocrinologists really excited. An 8 to 12% improvement in something called time in range. Time in range is the new gold standard. It's the percentage of your day that you spend inside your target glucose levels. And let me tell you, an improvement this big is a huge deal.
This chart really puts it into perspective. Look at this. Big studies show that with standard care, people might average around 61% time in range. But you put them on a closed-loop system, that jumps to over 70%. That extra 10% might not sound like a lot, but it is massive. It means fewer highs, way fewer scary lows, and a big drop in the risk of long-term complications.
But you know what? Data is one thing. This quote from someone using one of these systems, this is everything. The freedom to actually forget you have diabetes, even just for a little while, that's something many people haven't experienced in decades. That is the real victory here.
So you're probably wondering, okay, this sounds amazing. What can I actually get right now? Well, let's take a look at the systems that are on the market today, and then we'll get a little sneak peek at what's coming next.
Here's a quick rundown of the big three you'll hear about most. You've got Medtronic's 780G, which is known for having a really responsive, aggressive algorithm that jumps on high blood sugars. Then you have the Omnipod 5 and its big claim to fame as being the only tubeless option. That's a huge deal for a lot of people. And then there's Tandem's Control-IQ, which is super popular because it works so well with Dexcom CGMs and can even be controlled from your phone.
And there's another really interesting one out there called the iLet Bionic Pancreas. Its whole thing is simplicity. Instead of having to program all these complicated carb ratios and correction factors, you literally just tell it your body weight and the algorithm learns and adapts from there. It's made for people who want to minimize all the setup and fuss.
So who is this tech really for? Well, it's a great fit for people with type 1 diabetes at any age, especially if you're struggling to hit your glucose goals. It's an absolute game changer for parents of kids with type 1.
We're talking about being able to actually sleep through the night again. And now, it's even becoming an option for some folks with type 2 diabetes who are on a lot of insulin.
Okay, now for a super important reality check. It's crucial to note that all the systems available today are technically called hybrid closed-loop systems. And here's what that means. While they are amazing at automating your background insulin and fixing highs, you still have to tell the system when you're about to eat a meal.
Yep, you're still part of the team. You still have to count your carbs and give a bolus for your meals. And, you're still responsible for the maintenance, like changing your CGM sensor every week or two and your pump site every few days. So it's not quite set it and forget it yet, but it does automate a huge chunk of the work.
But the future? Oh, the future is even cooler. The Holy Grail is a fully closed-loop system where you don't have to announce meals at all. It just knows. We're also seeing incredible progress on dual hormone systems that use both insulin to bring sugar down and another hormone, glucagon, to bring it up. That's going to make it even more precise, just like a real pancreas.
And of course, we absolutely have to say this. This is all just for your information. Any decision you make about your health and about medical devices has to be a conversation between you and your doctor. It is a super personal choice, and everyone's results are going to be a little bit different.
And no matter what tech you use, whether it's the latest and greatest gadget or you're doing injections the old-fashioned way, understanding your data is everything. And that's where tools like My Health Gheware can be so helpful. They work with any system and add this layer of AI insights to help you spot patterns, because at the end of the day, data is power.
So, we'll end with this question. This technology represents a really profound shift, a shift away from constantly managing numbers to focusing more on just living your life. It's about letting a machine take on some of that heavy lifting so you can reclaim your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. So the question is, are you ready for that?